This is no mere highway. It is an artery of dread, pulsing with hauntings that cling to the soul like damp rock. The air here is heavy, thick with the scent of dust and despair, and the night hums with a malice that watches from the shadows. By day, the road is unsettling, its curves hiding secrets in the tall grass. But when darkness falls, Riverdale Road awakens. Drivers speak of headlights dimming without cause, engines stuttering as if choked by unseen hands. Phantom joggers appear in rear view mirrors, their faces blank, only to vanish when you turn. A spectral Camaro, black as pitch, roars past, its driver a silhouette with burning eyes, racing to nowhere before dissolving into the fog. The road itself seems alive, its asphalt shifting, guiding the unwary toward fates unspoken. The gates of hell, a rusted iron portal of the road, mark a deeper horror. Some say it's a doorway to the underworld, guarded by a pack of demon dogs, their howls splitting the night, their jaws dripping with hunger. Trespassers who approach the gates feel a weight, a whisper in their minds urging them to flee or to step closer. Those who linger return changed, their dreams plagued by visions of fire and claws. Nearby, the ruins of a mansion burned long ago hold their own terrors. A woman in white, her face a mask of agony, drifts through the ashes, her screams echoing when the wind is still. Some say she was murdered, her soul bound to the scorched earth, seeking vengeance on any who disturb her rest. Other spirits haunt the road's length. A child's laughter, high and wrong, lures drivers to the riverbank, where nothing waits but cold water and claw-like branches. Phantom hitchhikers, their clothes torn and eyes hollow, beg for rides, only to vanish from the back seat, leaving behind a chill that seeps into bones. The trees themselves seem complicit, their shadows stretching too far, their whispers forming words no human tongue should speak. No single tale explains Riverdale's curse. Some point to ancient tragedies, massacres, betrayals, or rituals gone wrong, staining the land with blood. Others believe the road is a magnet for the lost, a trap for souls too restless to move on. Locals avoid it after dusk, their warnings sharp. Never stop, never look too long into the dark. Those who defy the road return with stories of hands pressing against windows, of voices calling their names from empty fields. If you drive Riverdale Road, where the stars seem dim and the silence screams, keep your windows up and your gaze fixed. Ignore the jogger, the Camaro, the laughter in the reeds. Do not seek the gates of hell, nor linger near the mansion's ruins. For Riverdale Road is no mere path. It is a gallery of horrors, a gauntlet of the damned, and its spirits hunger for those who stray too close to its eternal, unyielding night. Reached her ears, a soft, wet lapping. She reached down, her hand dangling over the edge of the bed, expecting the comforting lick of her dog. A warm, wet tongue met her fingers, a sensation that sent a shiver down her spine. She smiled, reassured by the familiar presence of her furry companion. "Good boy," she whispered, pulling her hand back under the covers. The lapping continued, a rhythmic, almost hypnotic sound. She drifted off to sleep, lulled by the comforting darkness and the gentle rhythm of the licking. But in the deepest shadows of her room, a different kind of comfort lurked. A figure, silent and unseen, crouched beneath her bed, its eyes gleaming in the darkness. It was not a dog that had licked her hand, but something far more sinister. A creature of nightmare, its breath hot and rancid, its touch cold and clammy. Night after night, the ritual continued. The girl, lost in the innocence of sleep, offered her hand, and the creature beneath her bed accepted the offering, its tongue tracing the contours of her fingers. Each lick was a violation, a silent promise of the horrors to come. Then, one night, the girl awoke, a scream trapped in her throat. The lapping had stopped, replaced by a heavy, uneven breathing. She lay frozen, her heart pounding in her chest, her eyes wide with terror. She reached down, her hand trembling, and felt not the familiar fur of her dog, but something cold, smooth, and undeniably human. In the shadowy streets of Prakanong, Bangkok, a chilling tale has been whispered for generations, a story so terrifying it has transcended time and become one of Thailand's most infamous legends. This is the story of Mai Nak, the vengeful ghost of a woman whose love defied even death. The legend begins during the Ratanakosin era, when Nak, a young and devoted wife, lived with her beloved husband, Mak, in a small home near the Phrakanong Canal. Nat was deeply in love with her husband, but their happiness was cut short when Mak was conscripted into war, leaving her alone and heavily pregnant. Tragedy struck while he was away. Nat and her unborn child both died during childbirth. Her love for Mak, however, was so strong that her spirit refused to move on. When Mak returned, he found Nak waiting for him, her smile as radiant as ever. Unaware of her death, he lived with her, oblivious to the chilling truth. Villagers, knowing she was a ghost, tried to warn him, but anyone who dared interfere met a gruesome fate. Nak's wrath knew no bounds. Her vengeful spirit haunted the village, her cries echoing through the night as she clung desperately to her love for Mak. The truth was revealed when Mak witnessed her supernatural nature, a ghostly arm extending to pick up a fallen item far beyond human reach. Overcome with fear, he fled to the temple, seeking sanctuary from her relentless spirit. To this day, Maynak's story endures, her legend immortalized in plays, films, and whispered warnings. Her spirit is said to still linger near the canal, a tragic figure bound by love and sorrow, forever haunting the land she once called home. Travellers to Phra Kanong are warned, tread carefully, for Maynak's love may not let you go. There are many tales of misfortune, but few as haunting as that of Edward Mordake. Born into nobility in 19th century England, Edward was blessed with wealth, intelligence, and striking features, or so it seemed. For beneath his fine clothing and aristocratic demeanour, he bore a terrible secret. At the back of his head, twisted into his very flesh, was a second face, a grotesque, misshapen mockery of his own. It did not speak, nor eat, world slept. It smirked. Its lips moved soundlessly, whispering horrors that only Edward could hear. He begged doctors to remove it, but no scalpel could part him from the demon that clung to his skull. "It speaks to me of things no mortal should know," he cried. "It tells me of hell, of horrors too vile to name. I cannot sleep. I cannot escape it." Desperation drove him to madness. No priest could exorcise it. No medicine could silence it. And so, one night, Edward Mordake took his own life, leaving behind a single plea in his farewell note: "Bury me in unhallowed ground. Let not the demon gaze upon the living." His body was hidden away, his tomb unmarked, but some say his cursed soul lingers still. If you listen in the dark, just before sleep takes you, you may hear it, soft, insidious laughter behind your head. Deep in the woods near Mornan, Cornwall, a shadow lurks among the trees. The Owl Man, first sighted in 1976, it is said to be a towering creature with glowing red eyes, its massive wings stretching wide as it watches from the church tower. Those who see it report an unnatural screech, a sound that chills the soul. Locals whisper that its presence is a harbinger of doom, and if you ever feel unseen eyes upon you in the night, do not look up. In the jagged heart of the Andes, where Peru and Bolivia's peaks pierce the heavens, a malevolence older than the mountain stalks the night. The Pishtaco, a name that freezes the blood of those who whisper it, is no mere myth, but a boogeyman woven into the fabric of the Highland soul. Beneath the star's cold gaze, where the wind howls like a grieving spirit, his shadow moves, silent and insatiable. He is not human, though he wears Others claim he's a cursed conquistador, damned to wander for sins too vile to name. His eyes, glowing like embers in the dark, see through flesh to the marrow beneath. His blade, rusted yet impossibly sharp, hungers for more than blood. The Pishtako does not merely kill, he harvests. Villagers speak of lone travellers vanishing on moonless trails, their screams swallowed by the cliffs. Shepherds find their flocks untouched, but their companions gone, only a smear of blood on the rocks to mark their passing. The Pishtako's victims are not just slain, they are unmade. Tales tell of bodies found hollowed, their fat stripped away, their faces frozen in silent horror. For the Pishtako craves the essence of life itself, rendering his prey into tallow to fuel some unholy rite, or to sate a hunger no mortal can fathom. At night, the Andes grow treacherous. The air turns bitter, heavy with the scent of iron and dread. Footsteps echo where no one walks, and a low, guttural hum, like a prayer to a forgotten god, drifts from the shadows. Those who glimpse him describe a figure towering against the skyline, his cloak billowing as if alive. His laughter, when it comes, is a sound that burrows into the mind, promising nightmares that never fade. The Highland folk know better than to challenge him. They leave offerings, candles, coca leaves, scraps of fat, at crossroads, praying he'll pass them by. Yet the Pishtako is capricious. He might spare a village for years, only to descend in a single night, leaving homes empty and hearths cold. Children are taught to avoid the high paths after dusk, lest his long fingers snatch them into the void. Even the brave, armed with salt and silver, tremble at the thought of his gaze. No one knows what drives the Pishtako, nor what ancient pact binds him to the Andes. The mountains keep his secrets, their peaks silent witnesses to his endless hunt. But if you tread the high trails, where the air thins and the world feels too vast, listen for the hum, watch for the flicker of ember eyes in the dark. Do not stray from the path, and do not linger, for the Pishtako is no mere legend. He is the Andes shadow, its reaper, its eternal thief of life, and in his presence, even the mountains hold their breath. At first, it's easy to dismiss this as coincidence. Perhaps the current brought it back, or it was there all along. But those who have returned again and again tell a different tale. The coin isn't just lying in the same spot. It's placed right in front of you, as if someone or something wants you to find it. But the most chilling part of the story is the boy, some say. In the moments before the coin is returned, they've seen him, standing just out of reach, a small, pale figure. His face is obscured in the darkness, but his eyes are unmistakable. Empty, hollow, staring at you with an otherworldly intensity. He does not speak. He simply watches, waiting. And when you turn away, even for a second, the coin is there. Returned as if by magic, the boy's intentions remain unclear. Is he trying to communicate? Or is this some twisted game he plays with those who dare approach? No one knows, but one thing is certain. There is something deeply unsettling about the presence that haunts that bridge. Many claim that after encountering the ghost boy, they feel an overwhelming sense of unease, a feeling that they are never truly alone, no matter where they go. And so the legend of the ghost boy persists, drawing thrill seekers and curious souls to Clinton Road, where the line between life and death seems thinner than anywhere else. But for those who dare venture near the bridge, remember this: once you make contact with the boy, once you feel his eyes upon you, it may be too late to ever leave that haunted place behind, because some spirits never let go. whispering woods of Waukesha County, Wisconsin, there is a place shrouded in mystery and fear, a place that some say should never be visited. It is called Haunchyville, a village hidden deep within the forest, inhabited by dwarves who are said to guard their secrets with deadly intent. The legend begins with the claim that Haunchyville lies somewhere near Mystic Drive in Muskego, a road that winds through the trees, barely more than a forgotten path, often veiled in mist. Locals speak of strange occurrences, unsettling sounds in the night, shadows that move unnaturally, and figures that appear in the woods when no one is around. But the most chilling story of all is that of the village itself, where the dwarves are said to live, their tiny homes nestled in the dark corners of the forest, invisible to most who pass by. It is said that these dwarves are not the innocent, whimsical creatures from fairy tales. They are ferocious and territorial, and they do not take kindly to trespassers. Those who have ventured too close to Haunchyville have never returned, or at least not without disturbing tales. Some say the dwarves are protectors of the forest, guarding it against outsiders who threaten their hidden world. Others whisper that they are the vengeful spirits of a forgotten people, cursed to remain small and twisted, forever bound to the dark forest. What is truly terrifying, however, is the idea that the villagers of Haunchyville are not just reclusive, but possess an eerie power. If you wander too close to their village, they say, you may never escape. The dwarves are said to trap anyone who gets too near, keeping them in the woods as their own, never to see the light of day again. Some even believe that the dwarves have the ability to alter your size, shrinking you to become one of them, forever part of their hidden world. Haunchyville remains a place of fear and fascination. Few dare to seek it out, and even fewer return to tell the tale. If you ever find yourself driving down Mystic Drive, take heed. Some legends are best left undisturbed. Deep in the heart of Louisiana, in the swampy wilderness of Honey Island, there exists a creature so terrifying, so elusive, that few dare speak of it without a shiver. The locals call it the Honey Island Swamp Monster, a monstrous being that lurks within the murky waters and tangled thickets, hiding from the prying eyes of the world. The creature is said to resemble a massive, Sasquatch-like figure, tall and covered in thick, matted hair, its eyes glowing with an unnatural, menacing light. Its gait is described as lumbering, yet its movements are unnervingly fast when it chooses to reveal itself. Some say it has the scent of rot and decay, as if it's been stewing in the swamp's stagnant waters for centuries. Others speak of its deafening growl, a guttural noise that echoes through the dense trees and ripples the waters of the bayou. The first reports of the Honey Island Swamp Monster surfaced in the 1960s, when a pair of hunters ventured deep into the swamp and returned with a story that chilled the community to its core. They claimed to have seen the creature, a towering figure, covered in hair, with eyes that seemed to burn through the darkness. They also found strange, enormous footprints in the mud, too large and too misshapen to belong to any known animal. When they reported it to the local authorities, they were met with skepticism and ridicule. But as the years passed, more and more sightings began to trickle in. Fishermen, boaters, and hunters all claimed to have witnessed the creature or heard its unearthly howls at night. Some say the Honey Island Swamp Monster is a relic of a prehistoric past, a creature that has survived for centuries, hiding in the swamp's thick, unforgiving landscape. Others believe it is something more sinister, a guardian of the swamp, an ancient spirit who has claimed the land as its own. Whether it is a creature of flesh and blood or a supernatural being tied to the land itself, One thing is certain, the Honey Island swamp monster is real, and it waits in the shadows of the bayou, its glowing eyes watching, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander too close. If you ever find yourself in the heart of Honey Island swamp, beware. The swamp has its secrets, and they are not meant to be uncovered. The elevator game is not for the faint of heart. This eerie ritual, which originated on a Japanese forum in 2008, promises to transport players to an alternate world if they follow its chilling steps precisely. But those who play it know the risks. A journey that may lead them somewhere they can never return from, with a sinister presence haunting their every step. The rules are deceptively simple. Enter an empty building with at least 10 floors and step into the elevator alone. Press a specific sequence of buttons, 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, and 5, and upon reaching the 5th floor, something unsettling is said to happen. The door may open, revealing a mysterious woman standing there, dressed in shadows and staring straight ahead, ignoring the player. Legends warn never to look at her, speak to her, or acknowledge her presence, for she is not human. Those who break this rule have reportedly vanished without a trace, drawn into her icy, haunting gaze. If the ritual continues correctly, pressing the 1st floor should cause the elevator to ascend to the 10th floor instead, defying the commands. When the doors open, players will find themselves in a world both familiar and unsettlingly different, a barren, dark version of their own reality, empty and silent. Outside, a red cross glows ominously in the distance, casting an eerie light over a desolate landscape. They say if you step out here, you may become trapped, lost in this strange dimension, never to return. To return to the real world, the player must repeat the same button sequence, resisting the urge to look at the woman if she reappears. But the game is dangerous. Many who claim to have survived report feeling watched, plagued by shadows and strange figures following them long after they leave the elevator. The elevator game is not just a harmless superstition, but a doorway into darkness, a ritual that blurs the line between worlds and calls forth a presence that seems to lurk in the shadows. And for those who dare to play, one warning remains. Once you enter, you may never find your way back. Along the mist-shrouded waters of Wyoming's Platte River, locals whisper of a spectral vessel that has haunted the river for centuries. Known as the Death Ship of the Platte River, this ghostly apparition appears suddenly, cutting through the fog with an unnatural silence that chills even the bravest souls who witness it. Those who have seen it claim it's no ordinary ship, but a cursed harbinger of doom, a warning of death for those unfortunate enough to catch a glimpse of its decaying masts and spectral crew. The ship is said to be a battered, ancient vessel, its once proud sails now tattered and hanging limply, though no wind stirs them. The entire ship glows with an eerie, grey light, casting an unnatural pallor over the river as it moves silently, with no sign of rippling water to mark its path. Its wooden hull appears worn and rotting, covered in strange mosses and barnacles, yet it glides as if untouched by time. Witnesses recount that the ghostly ship seems to be staffed by a crew of shadowy figures, barely distinguishable travellers who encountered the ghostly vessel and soon after met tragic ends. One tale describes a fisherman who spotted the ship gliding down the river on a foggy morning. Mesmerised, he watched as one of the ghostly sailors extended a bony hand and pointed directly at him. Within days the man fell ill, his life draining away under mysterious circumstances. Another chilling account recalls a young couple who were boating on the river at dusk when the ship emerged from the fog. They watched in horror as the crew seemed to look straight through them, their empty eyes filled with a cold indifference to the living. Days later, the couple's bodies were discovered on the riverbank, their boat overturned, and no explanation for their sudden deaths. The death ship of the Platte River is no mere phantom tale. Locals swear by its appearances, warning travellers not to linger by the river when the fog thickens, especially near Alcova and Torrington. It's a grim reminder that some spirits do not rest, and that some waters are forever cursed. The ship drifts onward, a harbinger of death, carrying the souls of its doomed crew, forever bound to the Platte's dark, winding course. Let's journey into the haunting forests of Veracruz, where ancient whispers tell of mysterious creatures called the Chenecas. Close your eyes, relax, and let their eerie legend guide you to sleep. In the dense, untamed forests of Veracruz, whispers of an ancient terror linger, the Chenecs. Born from the depths of Aztec mythology, these eerie creatures are believed to dwell between the realms of the living and the underworld. Their sole purpose? To guard the sacred mountains and wild creatures that roam their untamed domains. But these guardians are far from benevolent. The Chenecas are small, no taller than a child, but their appearance is deceptive. They take on the guise of tiny men and women, their forms twisted and contorted, with eyes that glimmer like blackened coals. Their laughter, an eerie, high-pitched sound, echoes through the trees, growing louder the deeper you wander into the forest. Travellers who hear this sound know they've strayed too far into Chenec territory, and once the creatures have set their sights on you, escape is nearly impossible. The air grows thick, heavy with the scent of damp earth and rotting leaves, and suddenly you'll realise that the path you were following has vanished. The trees around you seem to close in, and the familiar sounds of the forest, birdsong, the rustling of leaves, fall deathly silent. It is then that the Chenecs strike. With swift, silent movements, they dart between the trees, their eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Their soft whispers crawl inside your head, filling your mind with confusion and dread. Legends say that the Chenec possess a terrifying power. They can steal a person's tonali, the very essence of one's soul. Once taken, the victim is left wandering in a daze, trapped in a state of confusion and fear. Days turn to weeks, and the unfortunate traveller begins to wither, their mind unravelling until they are but a hollow shell of their former self. To those who manage to escape the forest, the ordeal never truly ends. They say that the Chenecas curse their victims with endless nightmares and strange illnesses, their whispers haunting them long after they've left the woods behind. The only way to break free is to return to the forest and appease the Chenecs with offerings of food or valuables. A dangerous proposition, for those who return rarely make it out alive. In the dark, shadowy depths of the forest, the Chenecs wait, ever watchful. For once you enter their domain, you belong to them, and they will not let you go. In the chilling depths of Staten Island's folklore, a sinister figure known as Cropsey stalks the nightmares of those who dare to whisper his name. Originally conceived as a boogeyman to scare children into obedience, Cropsey evolved into a far more horrifying reality, merging with the true crimes of a man named Andre Rand, whose deeds during the 1970s and 1980s turned him into a living embodiment of the legend. The tale of Cropsey hushed evenings, a spectral figure lurking in the shadows of the woods, preying on wayward children who strayed too far from home. Descriptions varied, but all agreed on his ghastly demeanour, a disfigured face, haunting eyes, and a hook for a hand, dragging behind him the echoes of chains he rattled, a warning in the wind. As the urban legend grew, so did Cropsey's malevolence. He was said to reside in the ruins of the abandoned Willowbrook State School, a place already steeped in dark history due to its controversial past, as a residence for children with disabilities, subjected to horrendous conditions. Here, Cropsey found his sinister refuge, emerging under the cloak of night to chase the echoes of laughter with a hunter's glee. But the line between myth and reality blurred horrifically when children in Staten Island began to disappear in the 1970s and 80s. Panic gripped the community as the legend of Cropsey seemed to come alive. And then came Andre Rand, a former employee of the Willowbrook State School. When he was arrested in connection with the disappearances, the people of Staten Island were aghast to find that their boogeyman had taken human form. Rand was convicted of kidnapping, and the community was forced to confront the terrifying possibility that Cropsey was not just a tale to frighten children, but a real predator walking among them. Each trial brought more attention to the legend, each disappearance a grim chapter added to the lore. Today, the story of Cropsey remains a macabre token of Staten Island's history. The dilapidated structures of Willowbrook still stand, overgrown and forsaken, yet pulsing with the dark heartbeat of past atrocities. Those who venture near claim to feel a chilling presence, hear the faint rattle of chains, or see a shadow dart between the trees. Cropsey has transcended his origins as a mere boogeyman to become a symbol of real-life horrors, a cautionary tale that warns of the monsters that may dwell not just in our stories, but in the very heart of our communities.